welcome to Stay Stitching. And we're having a beautiful rainstorm here in Colorado, so couldn't be happier. To my left is our patio door, and I can see the raindrops hitting the patio, and that is something that we dearly love here in Colorado. So what am I here to talk to you about today? Maybe a whole video on rain in Colorado? No. I don't think there's enough rain usually for me to do a whole video. But I am here today to talk to you about the Love Notions Harmony Blouse. Now, I've shown you this before. This is from Love Notions Patterns. And this is the Harmony Blouse. And there are 4 views. There's cap sleeves, short sleeve, flutter sleeve, and sleeveless. And I have made all 4. Now, the first one that I made was this one, and this is a vintage rayon, and it's probably from the 90s, maybe the early 2000s. It's just a very pretty fabric, and if you'll remember, this was kind of groundbreaking for me because it was one of the very first tops that I made that fit me, that wasn't way too big. Like with the neckline coming all the way over here and then the shoulders falling down to here. And so I loved that top so much, and it was so much fun to make, that I immediately decided to make the other views. And so I'm going to show you those other views today and talk to you a little bit about them. This is, and I do have pictures that I'm going to put at the end of the video of me wearing the tops. I made these assembly line style, and it worked really, really well. All 3 of these fabrics take white thread. I used white bias binding on all 3 of them. The only thing that I did differently on each one is they each got their own vintage button. And so that's the only place where they really differ. So this fabric is a beautiful cotton lawn. I think it's lawn. It's a very lightweight but not flimsy cotton. It isn't super finely woven. It has a little bit of a homespun look. Maybe that means it's not lawn. I don't know. But I loved working with this. Cotton is just a joy to work with. It's so cooperative. It's so easy to work with. It's so easy to press. Everything just is beautiful with it. And this is a top that goes together pretty easily. The one mistake that I made, this is my first time to use a ribbon loop. Normally, did I just move I don't know if I just adjusted the camera or not. Normally I make either a handmade thread loop, or this pattern actually taught me how to make a thread loop using the sewing machine, which I had never done before, so that was kind of interesting. This is too big. I'm going to have to take this up somehow. I got to think about how to do that because it is sewn in there but good. So this top is finished around the neckline with a bias binding, and I just used white. The sleeves and the hem I did the same way. I like to use hem tape on all my hems. I just like it. And this is not my favorite hem tape. I lost my favorite hem tape. It's somewhere in my sewing room, I guess, and I have like 50 yards of it or something, and it's very soft, and so it doesn't provide any body to the fabric. So I used my favorite hem tape on this one, and it's super soft. Just, I love it. And then I used a stand-in on all 3 of these, and while these are pretty, this hem tape is a little stiff for my liking. So that was one thing I had to do, and I do hope that that hem tape shows up because I have a bunch of it, and I use it on almost every single thing that I hem. I wouldn't use it on black or whatever, but let's see, was there anything else I wanted to say about this? I did a full bicep adjustment on this sleeve, and I did it on the cap sleeve as well. The reason why I did that is because when I was, the Love Notions website is fantastic for pictures. I mean, they will put, and I kid you not, between 25 and 50 pictures of women from all ages and all sizes wearing their stuff. It's fantastic. And it's on a scrolling thing, so it just scrolls through automatically. And I noticed that all of the sleeves were closer fitting than I knew I would be comfortable with. I knew that for a woven, I would not like that on my arm like that. I wouldn't. You know, this is a knit. That's totally cool. Doesn't bother me a lick. And so I did a 1-inch full bicep adjustment on all of these. And so that's that one. Oh, this, I have a little over 2 yards of this fabric left. I adore this fabric and I was going to keep the rest, and I decided to go ahead and put it in the shop. I mean, truthfully, do I need another garment made out of this exact fabric? I don't guess I really do, and so this is going to be going up in the shop sometime in the next week. So look for that there. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And then there's this one. Now this is the sleeveless version. That was the short sleeve version. The sleeveless version has a different back. It's cut in a little bit more, and all of the edges, the neck and the sleeve edges are filled with, finished with bias binding. I chose this adorable vintage button. Isn't it cute? I love that. I think I got the ribbon size pretty well on this one. We'll have to see. Sometimes you can't tell until you wear it and move around in it if you got your ribbon size. Okay, this gorgeous fabric, you can see it's different on the inside, is the double gauze from the shop. And so if you like the way this looks, you can stop into Mayfield Fabric and check it out. I used hem tape on the hem there, and so this was the very first time I had sewn with double gauze, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about it in case you have never sewn with double gauze either. I have heard tons of people talk about it, and so I knew when I opened the store that I wanted to try it because it sounded really divine. And when I got the bolt of fabric, it was really divine. And I love this color. It's the exact chambray color. It's got the white and the navy woven together, and it's just soft as angel kisses. And so I figured out how much I needed to make for this sleeveless top, and I cut it off the bolt, and I washed it and dried it. When I got it out and went to put my pattern pieces on it, they didn't fit. Excuse me, I'm a little bit tired. It's towards the end of the day. I think it's about 6 o'clock, and we've been grocery shopping and running errands and blah blah blah, and I changed clothes 3 times for the pictures that are going to go at the end of this video, and that included pants and shoes. I didn't change my jewelry every time. Our bedroom is upstairs, so there was a lot of running up and downstairs, so I'm just a little bit tired. So I went to lay out the pattern pieces on this after it came out of the dryer, and they didn't fit. And I was like, oh goodness, I'm going to have to tell people to make sure that they order, a little bit extra because of the shrinkage. Well, it was really wrinkled, and so I thought maybe it really didn't shrink. Maybe it just is so wrinkled that it's shrank. So I took it over to the ironing board and I ironed it, and this irons like a dream, by the way, like all 100% cotton does. It just responds beautifully under the iron. And then I went back over and laid it back out, and all the pattern pieces fit. And I had cut it tight because, I didn't want to cut too much off the bolt because I want the bolt available. And so if you were to buy this, or maybe all double gauzes, I don't know if this is a Robert Kaufman double gauze. If you were to buy this, please keep in mind that when you take it out of the dryer, that you want to iron it carefully before you lay out your pattern pieces, and don't be too alarmed that it looks like your fabric completely went away. But there's that one. And I think I'm going to get a lot of wear out of this. I think this would be cute all winter long under cardigans. I have a pumpkin colored cardigan from Land's End. I kind of have a Land's End cardigan problem. I try to buy 1 or 2 a year. And I think this would be so cute underneath that. Or any color cardigan, truthfully. I don't know what color cardigan wouldn't look cute over this. But so this one's going to be a year-round one probably. And so dreamy and cool for the hot summer months as well. Now, this last one is my luxury version. And I call this a luxury version because this is made out of that exquisite Rayon Yoryu that we have in the shop. And I was a little concerned about how this would be to sew up, and it was a dream. It was easy as can be. I think the hardest part of working with the fabric, this filmy, I mean it's 100% rayon, and it is light as a feather, and it is the softest fabric I've ever worked with. You know, I was just singing the praises of that double gauze, and it is fantastic. It is incredibly soft and comfortable. This is even more so. And so I was worried about whether this would be difficult to handle. It was so pleasant to work with, you guys. It went under the sewing machine beautifully. I didn't use a lot of pins with this. I find sometimes that if you use too many pins, I kind of feel like it distorts the fabric, and then I feel like you're almost at odds with the fabric. The pin and all the pins in the fabric kind of make trying to get it through the machine like kind of like a little battle or something. And so I barely pinned anything on the entire construction of these. I never pinned bias binding. I didn't pin that at any point. I'm trying to think of if I pinned anything. I think the ones with set-in sleeves, I might have pinned at the notches just to kind of help me ease in. And by the way, these are super easy to ease in. This pattern is incredibly well drafted, and it goes together like a breeze. But I just wanted to let you know, if you're nervous about working with a fabric like this, it was so easy to work with. No pins around the neck, you know, when I was putting in the bias binding. No pins when I was doing the hems. This is the flutter sleeve version. And I couldn't be happier with it. You know, starting this fabric store and making the choices of what we were going to carry, that's kind of scary, you know, because you're putting yourself out there, you're making these choices. What are other people going to like? What will they be willing to pay for? What will they want to sew with? And so to then get the fabric yourself and wash it and dry it and then sew with it, I was really pleased with both of these. This one frays a little bit. So if you work with the double gauze, if I sew with this again, and I would totally sew with this again, when I finish all my seams flat before I put the piece together with my serger, and I do that with the knife lifted. If I were to do this, sew with this again, I would cut my seam allowances just a hair larger than usual, and I would lower my knife so that my serger was really happy, because your serger will be happiest when the knife is engaged, and you'll get your best stitch when the knife is engaged. And so I feel like I would have better, and it was fine. It's not like it didn't work, but that's one hint that I would have. And then just make sure that you handle it gently and that you have enough, you know, for hems or whatever. It wasn't had sewed a top that raveled so bad that before I set the sleeves in, I decided that I could no longer continue, and I finished the sleeves with bias edging and threw the sleeves I had cut out into the trash. That's how bad it was fraying and unraveling. And so this is like minor, just more than usual, more than rayon frays and more than like that cotton lawn frays, and this is not a fray fabric, so more than this frayed. So that would be the only thing I would really be careful of with that. And then with this one, no fraying, no, I would turn the iron down a little bit when I worked with this one, but just a very little bit. And I never felt like anything was getting scorched or messed up. It presses beautifully. And in case you're wondering, Rayon Yoryu is a rayon gauze. So this does have built-in wrinkles, and it's just gorgeous. Okay, I think I have talked your ear off enough with that. So again, that's the Love Notions Harmony Blouse. That's my collection. I have every single view, and I couldn't be happier. This was my first Love Notions pattern to ever sew up, and I think I have 9 or 10 others that I really look forward to sewing up. And a reminder for those of you who are full busted, Love Notions patterns come with 2 fronts. They come, at least this one did, they come with a standard front, and they come with a full front. And so your full bust adjustment is already in, and I do believe that it was in. I put my darts in just as normal, and there was no problem, no, nothing weird. There's no unusual pulling underneath the armpit or anything like that. So that's all I have to say today. Oh, the rain stopped. Maybe it'll come back. But I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm so glad that you stopped by. It really means a lot to have you here. And I will see you next time.